We're going to talk about how feminine embodiment and remembering your feminine nature and embodying your feminine energy just instantly cures anxious attachment. It's gone. It's gone. It can't exist if you work on your feminine energy. Now, of course, it's a tad bit more complex than I'll be able to cover in this one video, but I hope it gives you an idea and just inspires you more and more into really understanding this whole feminine, masculine energies. I know there's a lot of content out there about it, and like our minds can sometimes get really clouded with everything that's out there. Hopefully this creates some clarity for you. If you think about anxious attachment and anxiety in general and what it is, anxiety happens as a byproduct of these fearful thoughts that we have about the future, right? If you watched my previous video, you'll know that I talk about the fantasy development and how in the early stages of dating someone or meeting someone, we attach to a fantasy or we attach to an outcome or a desired outcome with that person. Our brain tends to go sometimes even into limerence and fantasizing of like, oh, this must be the one. This is it. This is what I want, right? And we attach to a specific outcome with this person and what they are supposed to be to us, what they're supposed to mean to us, and how the relationship is going to evolve and develop and all of these things. And all of this happens in our head, right? The anxiety happens in the body, but it is stimulated by the thoughts in the head, by these attachments that our ego creates of what this person's going to be, what this person is supposed to be, what our life with them is going to be like, and it must be like. And whenever we have this happen and the anxiety gets amplified, we tend to want to then control outcomes. And everything about anxious attachment is very highly action oriented, control oriented. I don't want to use the word manipulation, but there's a lot of unconscious manipulation that happens due to this attachment that we create to a story in our head. And what the work of the feminine is, and remembering our feminine nature and our feminine power, is the total opposite of that. We don't have a story that we attach to. We have our body that speaks to us. We have the present moment that we create a relationship with, and we allow a story with a person to evolve. Yes, we are connected to a desire. We have our desires. We have desires for a specific kind of relationship. We have desires for a specific kind of partnership. But the more that we connect to our heart, the more that we connect to our intuition and to our womb, to our breath, to Mother Earth, to the moment, the more we can regulate, the more we can soothe, the more we are actually tapped into our feminine. And what we then have the capacity to do is to express our deepest desire, to be connected to our deepest desire, but to at the same time allow things to unfold. When the anxiety arises, if you're connected to your feminine, when your fears and your anxiety arises, one of the main and most incredible things that I teach in my group program is how to be the masculine space holder that you're needing. So, how to create a space in your body for that anxiety to be received without a story attached to it. If we don't have a story attached to the anxiety, anxiety is just energy moving through the body. But if we have a story attached to the anxiety, then we become anxiously attached to the partner. But if we don't have a story attached to the anxiety, if when the fearful anxiety arises, we can connect to our breath, we can connect to our heart, to our safety, we can connect to our body. We can connect to the moment. We can ground. If there isn't a story attached to our emotion, the feeling is able to move through the body effortlessly. That usually happens, I think science says 90 seconds. And after those 90 seconds, when we have regulated and have come back to ourselves, we can, from our highest self, we can reconnect to our highest self and we can see what is the action that I want to take here. Or maybe it's inaction. This is where that chase tends to stop, because the more that we connect to ourselves, the more we connect to God, the more we know that what is meant for us is going to stick around. I don't have to chase and beg and this and argue and do all of this. Mother. I don't have to mother my man into doing the right thing. And that's what a lot of anxious attachment is about. It's about these knee-jerk actions that we take because of the anxiety. Because these knee-jerk actions that we take because of the anxiety relieve a little bit of the anxiety in the moment. But what the anxiety needs is the space to be felt, as opposed to a space to be projected into. And naturally, when you're learning how to connect more and more to your body, to your creativity, to your highest self, to your heart, to your womb, to your body, to your dance, to yourself, you learn to really shut the story down. That the anxiety is here because, oh my God, he did this and then he did that and he didn't call me and oh my God. But rather we come home into ourselves. We could even talk to this part of us. We can calm it down. We can regulate it. Often I suggest to my clients to go into, I can't stop the story. Okay, what's the worst case scenario? Well, the worst case scenario is that he's leaving me. Okay, so what if that happens? Can you breathe into that possibility and tell your little self that you're still going to be okay, even if that happens? The more that we learn to do this, the more we teach our brain to end these games of attachment to specific outcomes, or attachment to potential, or attachment to fantasies, but rather be rooted in the present moment, in the now, and be able to face and tackle whatever is coming up with freedom, because there isn't an attachment to a specific outcome. Right? We're just I'm just here with you in this moment. That allows you to allow the other person to show up authentically, to show up as they are, so that you can see them as they are. When you know how to be okay within yourself. Feminine embodiment is so much about, it's all about learning how to go from head and into body. And that's why devotion in your practices is extremely important. Because it's not a thing that you can just do once and be like, oh, I get what that means. No, it's a thing you repeat until it sets into the nervous system where this is just how you approach life. You don't allow your head to spiral into narratives, but rather you allow the space to feel your emotion. And if we are in constant practice of disallowing the head to create narratives which spike our anxiety, then even when we meet someone new, we're going to be able to notice, oh, my head is trying to create a narrative. My head is trying to make me attach to a specific outcome. Let me go into my body. Let me do my intuitive dance. Let me do my somatic shake. Let me do my yoga. Let me meditate. Let me stretch. Let me connect to the earth. Let me connect to the trees. Let me swim in cold water. Let me do the things that I've already been in practice of doing so that I can connect to my true nature. I can connect to my body, and I can allow this new and beautiful connection that I have to unfold without my head making me attached to certain outcomes and narratives based on my old beliefs. And this is why feminine embodiment and learning how to remember your feminine nature is going to end your anxious attachment. Because in that process, you'll also remember your inherent worth. You'll also remember how to lean on yourself, how to trust yourself, how to love yourself, how to trust God and higher intelligence. And you'll be able to allow things to unfold. And real things are going to stick. They're not going to leave. And if they do leave, if they do end, you will know they were not right for you. Because the whole time you were in practice of being connected to your heart and to your true self. I hope this explains it. Let me know if you have any questions about it. I'm happy to go deeper on this topic.